4 days till Disney Plus Day. 4 days till Disney Plus Day. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Resistance broadcast. I'm John. Thank you for joining us. You can find that song on Spotify.
That was a parody of a fat man in a little coat, right?
Yep. Yep. And you can find that song if you listen to our podcast on Spotify, because that's the only place you'll find that song. But yeah, thanks for joining us today. We have a really good news show for you. A lot of cool stories ranging from the what's ahead this week to what could have been a couple years ago. A lot of cool stuff. I can't wait to talk about it. As always, here with James Bainey and Lacey Gillerin. What's going on, crew? Lacey. Who knows? That's all I'm going to say. It's getting close. So usually I start with James on Monday, but I want to check in with you. How you feeling? How you doing? What's going on in your camp?
I'm chilling. Just hanging out.
Straight chilling.
Everyone's like, is it time yet? I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yep. Yeah. So James, you're not a big sports guy, right? Fair to say?
No. I've considered, I like podcasts, so I've considered getting into sports so I can listen to talk radio. Like sports talk and speculation and, what way is it going to go? And then like the next week, I'm like, oh, that guy was right. He called it, kind of thing, but because not really.
A lot of people actually watch sports because of the betting element of it. They like betting on the games, betting on the spreads at the point spreads and over-unders and that sort of thing.
Is that a popular thing, betting on sports? Just kidding.
This guy. This guy, huh? Now the question is, and we're going to kind of get right into it here because there's a lot of stories to get into, but are you about to
bet on me?
No.
Oh my God. I thought that's where this was going. I was like, can we not do that?
No, I'm going to ask James point blank before we get into any of the stories here. Do you think, would you bet that they announce a new live action Star Wars show on Friday?
Ooh.
And by that I mean new show, not something, Acolyte's going to start filming. Here's a new show you've never heard of that's coming out. And it's not Rangers of the New Republic.
Yeah, one we've never heard of. It's never been mentioned. That's a good question.
I would say no.
I feel like I'm leaning that way too, sadly.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
I think
Lacey,
they will.
What do you think? A new live action?
Lacey's going yes?
I think so. I think they have to throw something new out there because otherwise, I keep going back to it, but it's so true. Like, Netflix killed it a couple months ago with their whole global event where they listed out every single thing that's coming in the next 6 months. They gave you new stuff that's in production, trailers, glimpses, interviews, all this stuff. So it just makes sense that Disney would be like, okay, you don't need to announce a full lineup, but give us something.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if they announced more Marvel shows because I feel like those never stop. So that you got to give me something. You got to be... And I know it's not going to probably be announced, but...
To me, our first story emphasizes that there's even more content than I was even expecting from Star Wars in the Star Wars world.
You weren't expecting anything, James. I remember you being like, yeah, no.
I think, yeah. Well, I mean, I wasn't expecting anything new for sure, like what we're talking about, like announcements of new shows and stuff. And I think I'm sticking with that. But what I did expect is a lot of updates and new things within our Star Wars branch, almost similar to Investors Day, although I think that was a little bit more like gun to all the leaders of each branch, like gun to Kevin Feige, gun to Kathleen Kennedy kind of thing. Like, you have to say this stuff. We're forcing your hand on this. But I don't think Disney Plus Day is going to be like that. So whatever they can kind of feel that they get away with is what they're going to do. And Disney Plus Day is going to look at everything coming new just as a fun way to kind of remind and maybe make some announcements. But I think if there's announcements, it's probably going to be Pixar. It's probably going to be Marvel. It's probably going to be just general Disney content in general. I think we're so in tune with Star Wars that the average person probably is looking at this and going, Andor, you know, like they think that's cool new information, and it's not, because we're all dialed in and we're like, we've already seen stuff from Andor, and people just forget or don't know, you know. I know generally when I talk to people and I say, oh yeah, they're doing Book of Boba Fett and this, that, it's like people know about The Mandalorian, but they have no clue there's a Kenobi show coming. You know, the average person that I talk to, not the average Steven Star Wars fan, I'd say just people who casually watch Star Wars and like that stuff.
Well, before we get into Resistance Report and what may come this Friday, what we believe is coming this Friday, just a reminder, if you missed it, this past Friday, we did a live show that is now on all of our podcast feeds.
Thursday.
On the channel.
It was Thursday.
It was Thursday. What am I saying? Friday. You know why? Because I was off Friday. I was all thrown off. Yes, last Thursday. Either way, it's there now. It's on the channel. It's on your podcast feeds. We tackled for 90 minutes. Us and a bunch of the people in the TRB community tackled that Boba Fett trailer. We had a great discussion on it, so go check that out if you haven't. But we also are glad you're here right now with us on this Monday show. And what we do here is the Resistance Report. James, take it away, my friend.
It's the Resistance.
All right, John, this first story, like I said before, is all about Disney Plus Day. And we are reporting it as a rumor, but it is our story to tell. We have been told, Star Wars Newsnet has been told, that there is a slew of Star Wars content coming for Disney Plus Day. And if I'm to knock down the list here, this is what we've been told. Behind the scenes reel, or sizzle reel, if you will, for Book of Boba Fett. We just got the trailer, but we're getting the behind the scenes sizzle reel. That also is the same for Andor. We're getting that as well. We're also getting it for Mando Season 3. There's a lot of this behind the scenes kind of look coming, as we're being told. As far as official trailers, we're looking at one for Obi-Wan Kenobi, the first teaser trailer coming for that show. A first trailer or teaser trailer for Bad Batch Season 2, right? That's two full-on trailers, not behind the scenes. And the last thing here is the possibly an announcement of a new animated series as well. So, and not to mention just maybe some other surprises and announcements as well, but I think that was the one we were really leaning on, is that there'd be an announcement for a new animated series. This is a lot, John. This was your report, your story. So why don't you take it away on how you feel about these things? And I don't know if you want to talk about how you heard it or whatever, but yeah, but that's the story.
Yeah, so typically what we try to do is obviously report as honestly as we can on Star Wars Newsnet, because there's a lot of news that gets tossed around out there that's either made up or whatever, and we really do our best as a fan site to be honest and as clear and factual with our news reports. So the reason we tagged this with a rumor, we went back and forth on it, is because we only had one source on it. So but on top of that, more importantly, the rumor tag is because these things are so fluid, these types of days and these releases and these web casts and video casts that they do, they can change these things up until the last minute. Like, and I put this in the article, you know, and I said this, I think on our live show last week, you know, J.J. Abrams reportedly had 3 different trailers for Episode 9 for Star Wars Celebration, and he went to the wire to decide which one to use. There's a story we're going to get into in a little bit that, you know, someone being locked into a role and it gets scrapped, and there's a lot of things that change on these things, and when it comes to putting out a sizzle reel or a trailer and stuff, that's an easy cut to make or an easy ad to make, or let's change this to that. So we have to just caution people, like, listen, this stuff changes a lot, but this is what we were hearing, and based on, you know, where we heard it, we believe it. And so we were, I believe, the first ones to report on this. People were doing, let me post a GIF and do the safe route. We're like, let's just hammer it. Let's just go for it. Because this is what we were told, that we are getting our first trailer for Obi-Wan Kenobi on Friday. Probably looking at a teaser, nothing too, you know, narrative based or too long, maybe under 2 minutes. Maybe in the vein of like the Book of Boba Fett thing, but maybe even a little less than that. It wouldn't shock me if maybe we don't see Obi-Wan completely yet, because teasers are teasers for a reason, you know? But either way, we're getting our first teaser for Obi-Wan Kenobi Friday. Very confident in that. And then behind the scenes looks at the other upcoming shows that have at least been filmed or started filming. So like you said, James, Book of Boba Fett, Andor, and Mando Season 3. Now, the Andor one surprised me because that finished filming before Kenobi. So I'm curious as to why they're holding back on the trailer for that one. That one threw me for a loop that we were told that was going to be a sizzle reel. But then, you know, other ones are maybe a little more predictable, like, or expected, I should say. The trailer for Bad Batch Season 2. And the announcements, I